Whenever I come to the Crystarium, the sands of Amarang seem a world away, and yet they both lie under this same wretched sky. If only every town, could share the independence. That's what he said before. The Light Wardens. The Crystal Exarch welcomes you back to the Crystarium. I'm anticipating a moment when I'm going to have a hard time, holding back. And I think it's coming up soon.
And so you return. Have you gained a better understanding of the crisis now faced by the First?
Better is not the word I would use. Some lands may have been spared the flood, but the survivors live only to suffer. There seems no end to the horrors inflicted by the Sin Eaters.
Indeed. Those abominations are a calamity in their own right. And I can well imagine how hopeless the task of eradicating them must seem to you. But after countless battles and untold sacrifice, we have identified a potential weakness. Sin Eaters are drawn to serve the strongest of their kind, a class of creature we call Light Wardens. And from what we have been able to ascertain, only a handful of these entities exist. Just as an ant colony will perish in the absence of its queen, we believe that the death of a Light Warden will cause the lesser creatures within its sphere of influence to disperse.
I have a feeling Yulmul might have something to say about any concerted action we take against these monsters. Vorthra's command over the Sin Eaters is integral to Yulmoran society. In seeming to guarantee his people's safety, it guarantees their obedience. He will not take kindly to us depriving him of such useful allies.
Agreed. Thus we will need to occupy or otherwise divert his forces whilst we proceed with the business of eliminating the Wardens. Until we have done so, all other considerations must be set aside if we are to forestall the 8th Umbral Calamity.
Are you sure that eliminating the Wardens will be enough? I'm not sure I follow. Yeah, I'll go with the first one.
Your uncertainty is understandable, given the circumstances. Perhaps a more detailed explanation is in order. To begin at the beginning, then.
It's quite the ability.
In the ancient past, a single star was divided into 14 worlds. This is the source, your home. These others are the 13 shards, in whose number we find the first. Though physically separate, they retain a connection to each other, and with the source especially. Now, let us assume that a given element in one of the shards attains abnormal ascendancy. Just as water will flow from the highest point to the lowest, the excess energy will begin trickling into the source. And such an influx of ether will of course exert a palpable influence. If the element in question were fire, then drought and wildfires might ensue. If it were ice, one might expect the weather to turn bitterly cold. As ether continues to pour in, such phenomena will become more and more extreme, until eventually, a single, untimely event triggers a disaster which cracks the barrier dividing the two worlds. What was once a trickle now becomes a deluge, sweeping the shard along to be rejoined with the source. At the same time, the element which held sway in the shard is unleashed in full, its energies amplifying the original disaster to truly catastrophic proportions. An earthquake thus magnified might strike with enough force to shatter continents. A tidal wave might swell to a size capable of drowning entire nations. These devastating events are what we refer to as umbral calamities. 7 times has a calamity befallen the source. 7 times has a shard been absorbed.
I can't keep track of all the numbers, but I assume this is telling us which of the worlds where the shards are still around. I know the 1st and the 13th, and then whatever in between.
At present, the light-drowned realm of the First stands perilously close to meeting the conditions for a rejoining. It is the Sin Eaters who are to blame for the Light's continued dominance. In addition to attracting their lesser kin, the Light Wardens I mentioned earlier radiate ether, saturating every corner of their territory with light. Even here in the flood-spared region of Norvrant, their influence is strong enough to banish night from the sky. Thus, if we are to restore balance to the First and head off a potential calamity, it is imperative that we put each and every Light Warden to the sword.
We've been doing our best to take the fight to the enemy ever since we first heard the Exarch's explanation.
Though we have yet to claim any meaningful victories if truth be told. Apart from being confoundingly elusive, the Light Wardens possess a troublesome quality which compelled us to delay our plans until such time as you arrived.
Forgive the interruption, my lord, but Hallminster Switch is requesting reinforcements. They say the Sin Eaters are attacking in force, and the village could soon be overrun.
Alert the guard. We should be prepared in case the fighting reaches the Crystarium. You have command of our forces in the field, Captain, but hold off on entering the town until I arrive. That goes for Alphino and Alize as well.
My lord.
Pray, lend us your strength. Such a fight will provide you with far greater insight than any explanation I could offer.
There was something in the dialogue I wanted to double check. It was like the last thing Alphino had said. Yeah, apart from being confoundingly elusive, the Light Wardens possess a troublesome quality which compelled us to delay our plans until such time as you arrived. The only thing I can think of is it's like the amount of light they unleash and the fact that it needs to go somewhere. Otherwise, I think it just reforms into like a new Light Warden or something like that. Okay, sorry, I've just... Got distracted thinking. Holminster Switch is in the north of Lakeland, so we had best make haste with our preparations. In fact, meet me outside the Crystarium at the crossroads northwest of the Assessor Gate. A Censor Gate. And I shall lead you there myself. So this is going to be interesting because I've been curious as to how long these dungeons are going to take with the Trust. Because I'd like to do with the Trust because you get a little bit of extra story with it. You know, with just character dialogue. And then obviously, like, I don't need to wait in any queues or anything like that. And I know that they are longer than your typical successful, you know, smooth player run. But I'm curious how long they are. All set? If we follow this road north, we will arrive at the northern staging point. The village itself lies not far beyond. Quickly now. I actually kind of forgot where Holminster Switch was. I mean, you know, because you only go to the location once, and then after that, it's... The Exarch asked that we wait, and so we waited. You're here. We are heading in together, yes? Your assistance is appreciated. Holminster Switch is past these gates and through the woods. 'Tis not exactly a near neighbor to the Crystarium, but as we occupy the same region, we have built up something of a cooperative relationship. What can we expect inside, Captain? The town is beset by a swarm unlike any we have seen in recent years. We did our best to evacuate the villagers, but as many as half remain. Judging by the number of eaters present, we have good reason to believe that a light warden leads the attack. Well, that's convenient. How convenient. It seems we'll have our chance to slay a warden sooner than we expected. One does not simply slay a warden. Has no one told you what happens if you defeat one of those fiends? They hold more light inside them than all of their underlings put together. It can be struck down, aye, but its essence won't dissipate like the weaker kind. Vile aether will billow outwards and envelop the nearest living being, a reckless young swordswoman perhaps, and turn her into a brand new warden. Okay, that's likely what Alphino was talking about. Ah, well, you can leave that particular quandary to us. I must ask that the guards stand down and allow us to engage this leader of eaters alone. Concentrate on the survivors. We must save every life we can. But what if... Understood, my lord. As captain of the guard, however, I will not watch you brave such danger without an escort from our ranks. I insist that I go with you. Very well. Then our warden slaying party shall include myself, the Leviers, Captain Lena, and last but not least, a formidable group indeed. Into Holminster we go. I want to say Holminster Switch. Into Holminster we go. Once we reach the Light Warden, do not hold back. We strike to kill. The instance dungeons encountered in Shadowbringer's main scenario quest can be completed solo, alongside a supporting party of NPCs. To make use of this feature, simply speak with one of your NPC companions near the entrance to the instance and select the option to form a party. When forming a party, you will need to follow the same role restrictions imposed, when using the duty finder. Or you can do it with players. We will not be doing that. I know I want to do the... As you may have deduced, the troublesome quality of the wardens, which I endeavored to raise earlier, was this confounded capacity for spontaneous rebirth. But the Exarch seems confident he has matters in hand, so I shall trust that he may slay our foe without fear of the etheric aftermath. My restorative spells are at your disposal. I can't help but wonder if the scale of this raid is related to the recruiting the Eaters were doing in Amarang. Not that it matters. After all the combat I saw there, I'm more than ready to test my magics against one of these greater abominations. Destroy a Light Warden for good? If it is possible now, then why not before? Whatever the Exarch believes, I will force a retreat if I deem it necessary. I did not become captain of the guard by being meek or weak. Command of this sortie is yours, though I am not as spry as I once was. I hope my long years of experience will serve you in some capacity. I can wield spells to heal or harm, or even fashion an arcane shield and sword should we have need of a defensive wall. Simply say the word. Okay. As much as I would love to bring Lena, maybe I will. No, she'll be playing backup.
Very well.
Because I don't know if this applies in this type of, the kind of RP run through or whatever, versus, obviously like max level, you're actually leveling these guys up. But from my understanding, Crystal Exarch is supposed to be like the highest damage dealer, I think. And then just want Alize around so the LB actually gets used. I'm going to really like being able to do all these on a tank now. Because again, I played Dancer the first time through, and while it works perfectly fine or whatever, it's a little awkward having, like, you have to be the one to initiate combat and then wait for the tank to actually pick the stuff up. Where in this case, I can just run in and pick it all up. Oh god, that Sin Eater. It can't be. Yep, it's the one. Again, I think, you know, the timing of doing Alizé and then coming to this is good. They're even turning the bears. And then, of course, like, you can't... I mean, maybe you can get away with doing wall-to-wall. I don't know, but my presumption is no, just because of the way DPS works in here. Let's see if these guys... Yep, they can break my shield. That's good to know. Or my bubble. I don't think they'll be able to break it now. I can check it, but I don't think they will. I think it took 3 of them to do that. Oh, see, and now I'm down to 1, so... Yeah.
If I must.
And of course, you've got to bring Tesleen into... Or not Tesleen. You've got to bring Alizé into this one because of Tesleen. Okay, that was a bad time to pop. These dudes might do enough damage. I don't... Like, they're bigger, so I assume they do more damage. So I think... Of course they're going to do that damn AoE. I may as well just stand in it. There we go. Yeah, you really got to pay attention to,
If I must.
because I think they always target one target. Like, everybody targets one target at a time. And so, it's just better for you to, and they don't really, I don't know if they don't do any AoE or they don't do much AoE or, but yeah, so it's better just to focus target, find out whatever they're attacking, and then focus on that one. At least from my understanding of how the trust system works. Seems like they're all focusing on the big boys, so that's good.
The time has come.
Damn, yeah, all of them couldn't break my bubble. I meant to pay attention to what time it was when I started this run, you know, so I could just figure out roughly how long it takes to get through with the trust, but I forgot to do that. I'll just have to check the footage afterward, but... And it's not that important, because I think either way I'm still going to do trusts. This is the monster we saw in Amarang. Easy now, Alize. We face it together. See, that's why. It's just that little extra bit of dialogue, I think, is... I mean, I'm kind of a lore junkie, so... if there's an option for extra dialogue, I'm going to go with it.
Leave the healing to me.
Nice, I picked the right... I was like, oh, maybe I should be using Blackest Night. But I was like, I don't know what ability to use it on. Looks like it's Pillory. Gotta make sure to keep enough for another Pillory.
Let's give them a show!
There we go. Get that LB in there. Ooh. Yeah, Is everyone all right? We're fine. Let's keep moving. I know that definitely took longer than it would have taken in a player group. Someone help! Arg! Wait, those are villagers. Yeah, for anyone that's maybe not already aware, but from what I've heard, oh, that's not what I was... Well, that was a waste of a cooldown of delirium. But the trusts are... I don't know what's the best word to describe it, like regulated. The DPS, the overall group DPS is regulated. So like the more personal DPS you do, the less overall DPS the group will do. Basically, it ensures that a run will take roughly about the same amount of time every time. Futile, all you do is in vain. Have the gods no mercy? Yeah, my main concern about the length of these dungeons is just when it comes to putting it up on YouTube. You know, it's like I try not to put up stuff that's like an hour long, but it's getting more and more to be like that just because it's like I also don't want to break up like quests and stuff. So I may just be putting out longer videos when when I'm doing dungeons. All right. There we go. I was almost thinking I maybe should have stood in the AoE just to make sure that my bubble pops. Yeah, it's not going to pop now, that's for sure. Stood in the bad.
Protect me!
Yeah, I think they're focusing on the big boy. Oh, here we go. I've watched a few people react to this, you know, to getting here and going like, oh my god. Another eater. So this is where you went. That's the best I could do. The one nice thing about the truss, especially for your, you know, your first run through a dungeon, is it can help you pick up the mechanics and how to deal with them before, you know, you get into a group of people. Because you can just watch the truss and they'll always do it right. I don't know that she has a tank buster. She just, the only thing I've really noticed is this, which is just an AoE. So I don't think I have any reason to, or no, maybe the tickler. Yeah, there it is, okay. There we go, Alize. Again, well, okay, so in this case, you know, I've talked about, and I'm not even 100% sure on this, I would need to double check it, as to the effectiveness of LB1 and whether or not it's, I want to say I've heard it's not really worth doing because typically DPS can do more damage than that in that time anyway. But in the case of the trusts, it probably is a good thing to have, which makes Alize a good choice. Because I think typically all the other ones won't use it because they expect you to use it. Even if you're not a DPS. There we go. Alize, you've gone pale. I'm fine. We should keep moving. I'm actually kind of surprised she didn't have more to say. I mean, maybe that'll come up in, you know, the cutscene afterward. And at this point, I'm definitely looting stuff, if for no other reason than a chance at getting alchemy or carpentry stuff. Is death the only answer? What Alphino said. We're on the big boy.
You underestimate me!
Now, will 3 of these be enough? Oh, we're on this one. Okay, I thought it was the one on the left, but... Okay, just enough. I won't be... using Blackest Night again. So who are we on? Oh, this dude, okay. That's this one, okay. It's interesting, it's just a different, you know, way of tanking or whatever. I mean, not a far cry from regular groups, but if you kind of want to optimize your play or whatever, you know, typically you just wouldn't even really pay it. You know, everything tends to go down roughly around the same time because everybody's using AoE. I keep kind of fading out or whatever and not paying attention to what's being targeted. You know, I get into that tanking zone where it's just spam your AoE, spam your AoE. I think we're almost done though. I don't think there's anything after this group, and then it's the last boss. We are close. Be on your guard. Why is this happening? Yeah, the cutscene after this, I'll definitely, you know, definitely shed tears at, or like a really sad movie or something like that, but I'm one of those people that gets the, like, excited tears, you know, the excited, like, welling up or whatever. Light Warden Philia. That's an interesting name. But yeah, there's just certain scenes throughout this expansion, like the cutscene after this. We stand in the presence of a Light Warden. Okay, nobody else has anything? Okay. Grar and whatnot. But yeah, the cutscene after this, I get those excited. Mistings of excitement, you might call it.
Time has come.
Damn it, and I just used my... I should have known better. Okay, that's... Oh, wow, that's wide. Okay, there we go. You know, running this on a caster really sucks. Doing this part. Oh, I was expecting them to be done by now. Jeez. There we go. Didn't get the timing on that one like I would have liked. Almost got LB2. Do it up, Alize.
There'll be nothing left of you but a smoking crater.
Leave the healing to me.
There we go. And then Lena comes running up. Yep. I always kind of feel bad for leaving them in the back. Here we go.
It's releasing its ether! Fall back!
Oh, jeez. So bad.
We cannot let it touch us! Quickly, my lord, we must withdraw!
That will not be necessary, Captain. Though I appreciate your concern. The eternal light of these creatures has confounded us for nigh on 100 years. For each we have put down, another has risen up in its place, born of the self-same ether relinquished by its predecessor. But now we have a way to contain that corruption. The blessing of light, and the hero who wields it now stands before you.
Luna's like, oh my god, this is gonna... She's gonna turn. God, and then this music. I don't even know how we knew to do this. Just a feeling deep inside.
Behold, the monster's power is broken, and the world, twisted by its touch, returns to its rightful form.
God, it's such a beautiful song. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, this is 100 years. Like, nobody that's still alive has ever seen the night sky. Like, I get blown away when I can see all the sky, the stars in the night sky. You know, because I've always, like, lived in cities and stuff. But to go from, like, almost blinding light to this.
It can't be.
What's happening?
It's so beautiful.
The sunless sea. The warrior of darkness has come.
Is that what I think it is?
The night sky. As it should be.
Who are you people? You killed a warden, then bathed in its ether as if it were a spring shower, and now the sky? The legends are true. My lord?
How many years have I waited for this moment? For the one possessed of her blessing. for you. You have vanquished the Light Warden of Lakeland, and for the first time in a century, darkness has returned to the mantle of night. Without the ever-present light to sustain them, the Sin Eaters will have no choice but to retreat. Yet our victory is far from complete. Though darkness has fallen here, the other Wardens yet bask beneath burning skies, feasting upon what little life remains. Even should it cost me all I have, I would see each and every one of them slain, that this world might be spared from oblivion. Not only for the first, but for the source as well. Save one, and we save the other. But, be that as it may, I concede it was wrong of me to summon you to this fight against your will. I swear, on my life, I will one day atone for that deed, but for the present, I beg you stay and see this fight to its conclusion. Cast down the Wardens and restore darkness to the first.
I will become the warrior you need. It sounds like a glorious adventure. It seems like I have no choice but to fight. Oh. I mean, the second one sounds very, like, let's do this, but, this was a very, like, for me, like a very touching moment, or a very, I think I'll go with the first one.
On behalf of the first, I offer you my deepest thanks.
I understand there is much at stake here, Exarch, but why do you risk yourself so readily? It must have been a dangerous drain on your ether to summon even one person across the rift.
I do it for my people, of course. To give the Crystarium the tomorrow it deserves.
That is true now, yes, but the city had yet to be built when you first called forth the Crystal Tower. I'm simply curious to know what prompted you to commit yourself so completely to this particular course.
There are things which we can ill afford to lose. And I sensed from the first that I had a part to play in preserving them. Forgive me. I fear the events of the day may have taken their toll. Despite appearances, I am an old man. One burdened with many difficult memories, some too painful to recall.
Well then, I'm sorry for pressing you. It's a family failing, I'm afraid.
One which has served us well more often than not. Needless to say, we will continue to fight at your side until the last Sin Eater is defeated.
Come then, my warriors of darkness. Let us gather the surviving villagers and make our way back to the Crystarium.
So I wonder what, I guess, his actual motivation is, or at least his primary motivation. Because, when he talks about, like, some things are too precious to lose or something like that. I mean, with the way he talks about the Warrior of Light, like, is the primary motivation the Warrior of Light, and them having died on the source? Or is it just it can't just be the calamity itself. Because they all know about that already. I mean, this is about his personal motivation and not... I don't know. Without that constant glare, Lakeland seems an entirely different place. It's over, yes? I might need a moment. It's as if the sky itself had disappeared into the heavens. If I didn't have... if I didn't have Wounded to attend to, I'd never stop staring. I thought the dude to her right before was another player before, but it's just an NPC. How quickly you have justified my faith in you. So many lives saved, and the sky itself heralds your success. A single victory in a larger struggle, perhaps, but a momentous one nonetheless. It does make me wonder how he knew we'd be able to take the light. I want to say he does address it at some point. I think. Anyway. It's just such a good cutscene. It's one of my favorites. Not my favorite. That's still a ways away, but it's one of my favorites. It's just you know, what's going on, and then the music is just so beautiful. It all just comes together so well. Thank you for watching this video. Tonight, as you could expect, was amazing. Shadowbringers, I'm pretty sure just all of these are going to start with, it was amazing, it was spectacular, just because it's Shadowbringers. But yeah, we got a lot done, and we just entered into Ilmeg, which is one of my favorite zones from the expansion, so I look forward to doing that on the next stream. I do want to thank Smokin' Hot Ginger, a regular of mine, semi-regular of mine, for raiding the channel tonight. Obviously, I'm still a very small streamer, and any support I can get is much, much appreciated. So I just wanted to give them a shout out, and maybe check them out as well. I gotta share the love. But yeah, again, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And like Smokin' Hot Ginger, please come join live. The link to my Twitch is in the description down below. So, and the schedule is on the page, but it's Tuesdays through Saturdays, 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. currently. Who knows what it'll be eventually, but as of the recording of this, that's the schedule. So, as I said, thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a good one.